Do you ever feel stuck because your brain just refuses to do the things you know that will change your life? You're not lazy, your brain is literally wired to avoid anything uncomfortable. But here's the good news. You can reprogram it, and you can actually train your brain to crave the hard things. The workouts, the tough conversations, the bold moves in your career, the very things that make you unstoppable. And if you don't, you'll keep avoiding the work, settling for comfort, and 6 months from now, you'll be in the same exact spot you are today, frustrated, unfulfilled, and wondering why nothing has changed. What's going on, everybody? I'm Nick Santonastasso, and I spent the past 8 years learning healing modalities, tools, neuroscience, ways to unwire and rewire the brain because I was a broken little boy, and I've healed myself, and now I want to collapse time for you. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to program your brain to crave doing the hard things. So oftentimes human beings don't start the very thing because they make the thing too big. You don't start going up to the mountain because the moment that you see the peak of the mountain, you're like, that is way too big, that's not tangible, and the brain doesn't know how to break the things down. So I want to give you an example. If you want to buy a car, one of the greatest things that you could do is actually go in, figure out what the payments are, break it down into what are the payments monthly, what is the insurance, so your brain can actually wrap itself around doing the very thing. One of the greatest hacks that will help you start craving to do the hard things is not taking the whole challenge and making it this massive, overwhelming thing, but breaking it down into smaller tasks. I'll give myself as an example. As the man with no legs of an arm, when I wanted to become a bodybuilder, if I thought about me being super jacked and going on stage and doing the competition, it would probably be overwhelming. So then, instead of thinking about that massive, lofty goal, I would think about just how many workouts do I need to do? What kind of food do I need to eat? What kind of gym membership do I need to have? What supplements do I need to take? I wasn't focused on this big, massive, overwhelming goal. When I look into the mirror and I see a fat, little, chubby Italian kid, I'm going to get scared. The brain's not going to pick it up. And so the first step in helping your brain crave to do harder things is you have to make the task smaller. The question that I have for you is this: where in your life have you been focused on a massive, overwhelming goal, and how could you break it down and shrink the task? What's pretty cool about shrinking the task is when you break it down into a smaller task, your brain knows that it's tangible, but it will also pick up on the networks, the resources, and the opportunities to get you there faster. Don't make the goal so massive, focus on the next step in front of you. So the first step, shrink the task. Now, what if I were to tell you you are going to suck before you get great? It's going to get worse before it gets better. Let me give you an example. When you go into the gym and you work out, you're actually going to get weaker before you get stronger. After you work out for the first day, you're going to feel sore the next day, the next day, the next day, but then eventually after you recover, maybe you'll be able to push more weight. Or it's the same thing with speaking or learning a different skill. When you're learning all this new information, at first you're going to be like, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to think, I don't know how to execute on it, and you're going to suck before you're great at it. And that's what I've realized is most humans aren't willing to go through the suck in order to be great at something, but also one of the most powerful tools that you can use to start programming your brain this way is the meaning that you attach to discomfort. You see, the majority of people walk around and the moment they experience progress or the moment they experience discomfort, the moment they experience challenges, the moment they experience obstacles, the meaning that they give discomfort is that they're moving in the wrong direction. But what if you change the meaning? What if you can change the meaning of discomfort and every single time that you felt the challenge, every single time that you felt some resistance, every time that you felt a problem, it wasn't a sign that you were moving in the wrong direction, but it was a sign that you were moving in the right direction. One of the greatest things that you can anchor inside of this video is that the meaning you attach to the experience becomes the experience. And one of the biggest patterns that most people handicap and cripple themselves by is that they attach a negative meaning towards discomfort. So the next step of craving or training your brain to do hard things is to attach an empowering meaning to discomfort. Every time that it hurts in the gym, you know you're moving forward. Every time that you fail when you're recording a video, you know you're getting an extra rep to building an amazing skill. Every time that you ask someone out and they say no, you know that you're one no away from the next yes. And so if you really want to unwire and rewire your brain, you have to change the meaning around discomfort and understand that the more discomfort that you feel, you're one step from mastering a new skill, a new habit, or a new ritual. So change the meaning on discomfort so you can experience more progress. Now, the next step, I think, is one of the most powerful things, because this is the very reason why the man with no legs of an arm jumps out of bed faster than people with all their legs and all their arms. You see, there's two forms of motivation in the world. There's push and there's pull. And my hallucination is those that are watching this video, you have been pushing towards your goals. You've been pushing towards money. You've been pushing towards branding. You've been pushing towards speaking. You've been pushing towards relationships, and you've probably got burnt out. It wasn't flowy, there was a bunch of friction. And that's because you haven't identified a deep, meaningful reason of why you're doing what you're doing. The truth is, as a guy with no legs of an arm, there's a lot of things in my business that I don't want to do. There's a lot of things in life that I don't want to do. I mean, let's be real. Sometimes I don't even want to get out of bed because my body hurts. But instead of me having to push through the world, I've identified a pull. The pull is a deep, meaningful reason of why you're doing what you're doing. And if you can create a really deep, meaningful reason of why you do what you do, it'll pull you on the days where you don't want to do the work. I'll give you an example. One of my biggest pulls was to give my parents a life like they gave for me. I mean, let's think about it. Everybody wanted my parents to not go forth with the pregnancy, but instead they did it anyway. And so now I've created this meaning in my life where every time that I'm tired, every time that I don't want to speak, every time that I don't want to serve, I realize that I am living on the bonus round of life. I'm not even supposed to be here. So that pull pulls me on the days where I don't want to do the not so sexy things. And so my friend, the next step is for you to identify a deep, meaningful reason that gets you so fired up so you can do the things even when you don't want to do them. Hey, real quick before we move on to the third step, learning how to force your brain to crave hard things is amazing. But without a support group, most people fail to take any action. But I'm here to help. I've created a free community with like-minded people, and I'm officially inviting you to join. Inside, you'll find more in-depth mindset and psychology trainings from 8 years of being a public speaker and helping people all around the world. Just click the link in the description below, and I'll see you on the inside. The next step, the truth is, we're all screwed in the sense that our dopamine is shot. We live in this quick fix era. Everything that you can get it immediately. Like right now, if you're hungry, you can order food and it's going to be at your door. Right now, if you want a movie, you can immediately download the movie. Right now, if you want some sort of vice, you could probably get the vice. Oftentimes, your dopamine receptors are so shot that you can't even do deep, meaningful work because you want to go scroll on the next social media platform. And so one of the greatest things that you can do is chase real dopamine. What does that mean? Well, real dopamine is getting sunlight. Real dopamine is learning new skills. Real dopamine is working out. Real dopamine is building real relationships. Real dopamine is going to change the quality of your life, and it will allow you to focus on a deeper level and get things done. I can assure you, there's not much competition out there in the world. Not many people know how to do deep work. Not many people know how to learn a skill set. Not many people can read a book from front to end. And so you need to chase real dopamine to start unwiring and rewiring your brain, but also you need to start exercising the muscle of delayed gratification. Most people want the result now. And if they don't get the $1 million in 3 days, they quit their business. If they don't get the 1 million followers in a month, they're done creating content. So if you can anchor the muscle of delayed gratification, then you can do your Netflix. And so what I want you to do is reward yourself with those things that are meaningless but you love to do. So for example, if I want to watch Netflix, I'm going to do some deep work and then I'm going to reward myself with Netflix. If I want to eat terrible food, maybe a couple days I eat healthy and then I reward myself with not so good food. But I can assure you that if you delay gratification and start chasing real dopamine, you will literally be a superhuman because 99% of people can't go 3 seconds without wanting to watch a cat play the piano on TikTok. The next step is understanding the most powerful invisible force in personal development, and that is your identity. You will only act in alignment with your identity. And your identity is built off your habits and your rituals and the very things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Some of you have the identity of someone who's not healthy because you haven't been in the gym. Some of you have the identity that you're not smart because you haven't taken the time to learn a skill set. Some of you have the identity that no one's going to love you and you're going to be lonely because you haven't taken the time to invest in relationships and get enough no's until you get the next yes. And so the next step to unwire and rewire your brain, to make sure it's craving to do the hard things, is start identifying who you want to become. If you want to become healthy, you need to do healthy things. If you want to become smart, you got to do things that make you smart. If you want to become more loving, you have to do things that make you more loving. And so identify the person that you want to become and ask yourself, based on that identity, what kind of actions does that person take every single day to reinforce the identity? Who would have thought that the more that you learn a skill, you start to feel smart? Who would have thought the more that you work out and eat healthy, you start stepping into the identity that you're someone who is healthy? And so you need to shift your identity. We also have deeper videos on how to actually dive deep into the identity. But identify who you want to become and start walking, talking, and acting as them. My hallucination is that you've probably made promises to yourself that you were going to do things and then you didn't do them. And now you stopped believing yourself because your word is not bond. And so identify who you want to become and ask yourself, based on that identity, what kind of actions does that person take? And the more that you take those actions, you will rewire your brain to be that actual identity, walk and talk as the version you want to become. And the last and final step is to gamify the human experience. You might as well make the human experience fun. So I believe I'm just this avatar with no legs, one arm, and I have a little game that I play with myself, and I would invite you to try this game as well. Anytime you're afraid of something, anytime that you experience a challenge, now you have to. And what that does is it keeps what you fear the most and what is the most challenging for you on the forefront of your brain. And the more that you attack that thing, it's one of the fastest ways to introduce you to a version of yourself you haven't met yet. And so as I'm teaching this, your brain is going to things that you fear. Maybe it's creating content. Maybe it's going out on a date. Maybe it's going to the gym because you feel insecure. Whatever you're afraid of and whatever is a massive challenge, go attack that thing. And then once you override the fear, once you overcome the challenge, celebrate your wins. It's easy to feel like a loser when you don't keep score. And there's probably so many wins and so many times where you overrode fear and you did an amazing challenge and you never celebrated it. What's the point of winning if you're not going to celebrate it? So attack the fears, attack the challenges, attack the obstacles, and when you succeed and get to the other side, if you got hands, celebrate them, give yourself a round of applause, because it's going to wire your brain to want to win more. Now you know the 5 steps to make your brain crave hard things, but in order to achieve your wildest dreams, you need to know the secret that motivates the man with no legs of an arm to jump out of bed every morning. Click on this video here and I'll share with you how I'm able to have more motivation than anyone you've ever met in your life. We'll see you in the next one.